Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is DB333 and welcome to Hearts of Iron 4, Kaiserreich, as of two Sicilies. Now in the last video, we hopped in and just kind of started prepping. We have elections coming up in May of 37, and so we're kind of seeing how the scene rolls out. I'm going to stay democratic. I know, I always go democratic, but NatPop is, like I said, better suited for this region of Italy. And so, I'll get to that one day, I promise. And I kind of realized over the break, I didn't say, because there are two paths you can go down. You can either go the old order, which basically is you create the Italian Federation, get a bunch of puppets going. And so you have like Tuscany, the Papal State takes this. You have what's the name of is this Parma? Or where Parma is? And then you get Lombardy, Venice, Sardinia, Piedmont, so we get that beautiful toothpaste color. You almost only ever seen EU for. I have no water left. What am I doing? I went to take a sip of water, and I just realized it's just ice. So that's sad, but what are you gonna do? And so, what was I saying? There's either that, or you can do, you know, an Italian empire. Get cores and all of that, reform Italy. And I was honestly thinking about doing this, but I kind of figured, I think this is probably, you know, the obvious thing to go. I'm honestly curious about doing the old order. You know, mix things up, you know? Granted, I'm not the biggest consumer of, other people's Hoi 4 content, mostly because I don't want to watch that and say, oh, I can't do that anymore, or like, oh, I want to do that now. Get too influenced over it, though granted, I mean, right, it's a dispersed industry that you want to do, that's right. Not to shit on anyone, I like watching their content. Wait, send over China, that's nice. There are a lot of good content creators that I enjoy watching. Hoi 4. Poland false nationalism. Interesting. Tommy K. That's a good one if you guys have watched him. He does Twitch. Ooh. A rally by the Confederazione Generale Siciliana del Lavoro, of a Sicilian General Confederation of Labor, for the ruling Christian Democratic Party, was disrupted when members of a black shirts disrupted their rally. Disrupted one, whatever. This disruption quickly turned into a bloody battle that left quite a few injured, even worse, a few fatalities on both sides. While the black shirts have forsworn syndicalism, the black shirts have been lately decrying the members of their members as agents to a socialist republic in the north. Oh, that's the Union, right? Now the outcome of this particular case must be decided. Are these members innocent, or do the words of the black shirts hold merit and truth? Many conservatives are siding with the black shirts, declaring that they are traitors for the kingdom, while some of the liberals can claim they're innocent. I mean, we don't really have much proof to it, so we gotta... You know, innocent until proven guilty. But yeah, I used to watch some other guys like Conquering History Games. It's pretty good stuff. I don't know if he's still doing Kaiserreich stuff. I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to get into Kaiserreich content because I love Kaiserreich and Hearts of Iron 4 in general, so I want to see more of it. So probably get back into it. So if there are any other YouTubers you guys watch that you think I should give out, or if there are any other YouTubers who want to maybe collab, I'm down. So if you guys want to do that, if either comment section or Discord, join up with that. So yeah, I don't know, but I haven't seen the Italian Federation before, I think, and I might be wrong. People have probably done it already, but I haven't seen it, so I figured mix it up, you know, just see where it goes. Bologna's joined the Reich Pact, so yeah. So I like to go into the history of these regions. And granted, I'm just some dumb American who probably doesn't know shit. I admit that. I probably don't know what I'm talking about, but I'd like to think Wikipedia does. And I know it's not a credible source generally, but, you know, it's a collaborative effort. No one's going to lie about old Italian history, especially southern Italy. So, a lot of people, I'll probably talk about the whole Italian history some other time, because it's kind of an interesting thing. Because, you know, there's all the city-states, you know, Venice, Milan, Genoa, and then you have the Sardinia, or Savoy, turning into Sardinia, Piedmont. Let's deal with a crisis real quick, or a deal with a crisis. And that's all, interesting stuff, but a lot of that is in the north. All of the cool history, like the War of a Bucket, I'm pretty sure was between Bologna and someone else. It might have been Modena, but I forget. But all that was in the north, and you don't really hear too much about the south of Italy. You know, Naples, Sicily. Like you always hear, you know, like in mob movies, how they always come from Sicily or all of these southern Italy's northern Catholic suppressed. What the fuck? In a move that comes as a confirmation to many of the evils of syndicalism, the government recently rounded up scores of Catholic faithful, anyone whose allegiance might be suspected and who might be an ally to the Pope, and placed them in prison pending eventual interrogation. It's a move that has spurred resentment of the South and renewed calls for war. These motherfuckers. So you don't hear too much about southern Italy. And it's kind of a shame, because a lot of the history, I think, is kind of interesting too. And so, I'm just going to go over very much the footnotes of it, and I don't know too much of it. Oop, call of a new leader, Archbishop of Naples. Alessio Ascalari was given a stern and powerful sermon claiming that kingdoms... Excuse me, should probably stop drinking this rock star. Social conservative policies are ruining the kingdom and are at fault for Black Monday. He says that it's time for the kingdom to have new leadership with new ideas. Many that support the social liberal Christian Democrats have taken this as a good sign and are energized by his rhetoric. May God protect the kingdom. So, it'll take a while. We could go as far back as, you know, to Rome and all that. But I'm going to start to really, I think what a lot of Paradox players' history starts at. 1444, EU4. Or, well, it's not quite that point, but it's a similar point to that. I think it was in 1404 that the Kingdom of Naples, which I think had Naples and Sicily, came under a personal union with the King of Aragon. And they broke it off for a while, but then the Spanish took back control. I forget whether it was the Castilians at this point, or also just the Aragonese, and then the wedding happened. And then they also got southern Italy. So they got integrated into, not integrated, like in the Hoi 4 sense, but their king was the King of Spain. And so they have a really, even today, there's a noticeably, kind of a Spanish flavor to it, compared to other places. Granted, southern Italy has been colonized by a lot of people. The Greeks during pre-Roman times, then the Romans, of course, and then the Muslims took over Sicily, and I think, I believe it was Sardinia, too. So, they were Muslim for a while, and then the Christians took over. Oh, I got research I gotta get right. We'll do interwar artillery. So, there's a lot of, cultural diversity in this region that, the North might not necessarily share. At least with, like, different influx of cultures influencing stuff. And there's even, like, Albanians who live in this, tip here. Like, small communities of Albanians. But yeah, for a long time, Italy, southern Italy was ruled by the Spanish. Then it got the Habsburgs took control, but then it kind of got taken back by the Bourbon dynasty after the whole incest thing didn't work out well for the Catholic branch of the Habsburg family. R.I.P. Charles the whatever fifth was it? I forget. Whichever one, the really inbred one, like inbred even for Habsburg standards. Let's do. What do we want to do? I'm thinking grand battle plan or superior firepower. Superior firepower. And then field hospitals. So, Southern Italy has had a lot of different cultural impact, like cultural influences, I should say. But they never really got a taste of independence for really until the Napoleonic era. Now, good old Napoleon, of a crisis. We'll go with this for now. Good old Napoleon came in and he established forget some sort of republic. I forget the name of it off the top of my head. Let me look it up real quick, because I have it on my I wasn't looking at the Wikipedia page because I didn't want to just read off it. The Parnithopian Republic. But it was basically, not really republic, Italian, French puppet state. And then, Napoleon got beaten back, and so for what the two Sicilies, which, is a nation here right now, got their independence. And so, it had basically, it had Sicily and it had southern Italy. And then we got Gabriele Baldi's red shirts. I think, is that his name? Let me look up just real quick to make sure. Because Baldi, I don't think it's Baldi. The red shirts guy. Where's the red shirts guy? What's his name? I'm trying to remember. I'm gonna have to look this up too. But the red shirts guy. Giuseppe Garibaldi. I don't know where I got him. Well, Baldi's is part of his last name. Giuseppe Garibaldi, who is probably one of the coolest guys in history. Like one of these really interesting figures that you come across in history who's done all this crazy outlandish shit. And it sounds like a TV character, but it's a real person. So Garibaldi's one of these guys. And in the North, he's kind of looked at, like in the North, he was kind of viewed as, oh, he's a great unifier. And we'll move on, but not so much in the South. Because the South and the North, even the South is much different than Northern Italy, or even Central Italy. Because the North, and even in Central, to a similar effect, are much more industrialized than the South is. If you, like, a few events popped up and said, oh, it's mostly farming. And that was the case for a long time. The monarchy, formerly in Torino, then moved to Rome. The Savoyards, they mostly focus on industrializing the North, which is good for places like, Milan and Turin, and all these cities that now have these massive cultural impacts. But they didn't really send a lot of that love down to the South. And for a while in Italian history, things were rough in Italy. Like, economically, it wasn't the best, but it was really rough in the South. In fact, there was a huge Italian diaspora. Liberals have won. Brazil, interesting. I dig deeply and greedily. So a lot of people, like, everyone know, like, a bunch of Americans know that there was a huge influx of Italian refugees, not refugees, immigrants into, the United States during, like, the 60s and 70s. Bunch of, anti-Italian sentiment in that time, if you kind of look into, like, the history books. Which is interesting. Because, you know, it's a view into a different time. But a lot of the Italians that were coming were from the south. Like, Palermo, the Sicilian Islands, or Calabria. Like, if you watch, The Sopranos, a lot of them say that they're from the south. I think Tony says he's from somewhere near here, I want to say. I forget. But a lot of southern Italians, because the north, all things considered, wasn't doing that bad. They had industry, they had all that going for them. The south was just farmland. So if they didn't leave for America, which was tempting because relatively more freedom, and, what else? Economic opportunity and more economic mobility. But if they didn't leave for America, they just went to Genoa or Milan or Turin or Rome or Venice or somewhere in more north because there was more opportunity there. And so, because of that, the South was always a bit more resentful towards the North. They still are today. A lot of these issues still kind of impact more modern-day Rome, or more modern-day Italy. Because there's still a rural, industrial divide, kind of. And, I mean, a lot of it still carries over to public. The South's kind of more conservative. North is more liberal in the kind of, like, left-leaning kind of sense. And the South's more conservative, broadly speaking, from what I'm understanding. There was, an interesting chart that I looked up, that I found while I was doing, a little bit of reading on this. And, after World War II, there was, because, you know, there's an Italian monarchy. Was. Emphasis on was. There was a referendum in 46, whether Italy should stay a kingdom, like they kind of were before, you know, how they were for since the formation up until that point, or if they should become the Republic and get rid of the king. And, long story short, the Republicans won, and so the monarchy was kicked out. But if you look at, like, the voting population, a lot of the votes for getting rid of a monarchy were northern. Were just north. Infrastructure investments. It was, you know, Milano. It wasn't entirely that. There was this region, I think, was pro-monarchy. But in the South, it was very, very monarchy favored. Not entirely. I think Palermo was a bit of blue in that huge sea of red. But it was it was a much more conservative, like, more pro-monarchy favor. And it was just not good. There's a big divide in southern Italy compared to northern Italy. And it kind of translates over, like, today, because Italy in the 50s and 60s had a bit of it's called the economic miracle, but it really was more of a miracle for northern and central Italy, because the South wasn't doing too well. Like, there were fucking communist uprisings and terrorists. Granted, that was more of a general Italian issue, but if I recall correctly, it was pretty bad in the South. More than other places. And so, actually, I'm curious now. 2017 Italian elections. I'm curious how the votes... When do the Italians have their elections? Elections. It's 2018. I'm curious how the voting went Pulling up right now. A lot of, yeah, wouldn't you know it, a lot of southern Italy went for, I think it was was it 5-star? Yeah, the 5-star guys. Which are kind of the more kind of conservative, right-wing populist. So, I don't know. I might not know what I'm talking about. If there's anyone from southern Italy or northern Italy who wants to tell me how stupid I am, well, don't do it like that. But if you want to correct me or give me some feedback here, I'm more than happy to listen to it and learn something new. But from my understanding, I think that's how it works. So I just go with what I think I know. With my 5 minutes of Wikipedia reading and some prior knowledge beforehand. But yeah, I think that's it for now, guys. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of my content in the future, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for more uploads every weekday, as well as every Saturday. If you have any comments, feedback, concerns, anything like that, leave it in the comment section below. I read all the comments I get, and I appreciate any email feedback you kind folks might have for me. If you want to support financially, I have a Patreon link below. Send a few bucks my way if you're so inclined. If you can't or you don't want to, fair enough, I understand. But I'd appreciate it if you could. Also have a Discord down link below. If you want to jump with me, we can chat, play games, and have a fun time. And I am streaming on Twitch, ideally every weekday. It doesn't always work out like that, but Mondays through Fridays, my schedule is posted on my Twitch channel. So if you want to follow me, check that out. I'm trying to get affiliate or something like that so I can get some money off that. So if you guys want to help out with that, see some streams, I'd appreciate it. So yeah, that's about it, folks. My name has been DB333, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.